New week, new community call. As promised, this year, 2026, is a brand new year with a brand new New Year's resolution. So welcome everyone to this week's Nym Community Call. I am Sudo, aka Simon, your humble host for today. And I'm bringing you some news updates, both from the Nym side, also general privacy related news. And we're going to be, as usual, well, not usual because we only had one of these before, but we're also going to be having a bit of a game night together. So hopefully you're prepared for that. Some extremely difficult questions with some extremely difficult answers. Hopefully you enjoyed the previous community call with this new format that we're trying out. As I mentioned already, we are going to be iterating on this format. So if you have any suggestions, then make sure to leave them in the forum post that is going to be launched on Monday in preparation for the next community call. And on that note, hopefully you guys are enjoying my background, which was graciously provided by Uncle Lem. Big thanks for that. My camera follows me, so I can't properly show you the text on it. Wait, maybe if I go this way. No, it still follows me around. Yes, now. So it's a reference to Twin Peaks, a really good show if you haven't seen it yet. But this time we are on Nym Peaks, and that is where I'm going to be reporting this community call from. And a bit of a personal update is that I'm back in my headquarters in Portugal. So you hopefully enjoy the somewhat better audio quality and also hopefully video quality as well. So yeah, this is what community calls are going to be looking like going forward, except for the background, which you guys are going to select every single week. All right. What we're going to do today, as mentioned, we're going to go through some Nym-related news first to see what's going on around Nym and Nym VPN, and then we're going to look into some privacy news from around the world. And then we're going to... Wait a second, let me look at my notes here. Then we're going to have a new segment, probably not a recurring one, but community suggestion to show people possible newbies around Nym VPN and explain to them how to use Nym VPN as a first-time user. So we're going to be doing that as well. And then game time. So again, hopefully you sharpened your pencils because you're going to be trying yourselves against each other in the brand new Nym Trivia Showdown. Hope that was exciting enough as a wording. Of course, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on questions as usual. So we're going to be doing a Q&A at the end. So I'm going to be answering your questions. So make sure to leave them in the chat, and I'm going to be answering them at the end, or if they are relevant at the point when you send them, I'm going to be picking them right up. All right, with no further ado, let's jump into the Nym news first. Wait a second, let me move this window here. All right. So first up, a big announcement, which I'm really, really excited about, is that the Nym token is now available in, I think, by far the most popular wallet of the Cosmos ecosystem, which is Kepler. This is very exciting news. There was a workaround to add Nix as a custom chain, and through that enable Nym tokens in the Kepler wallet. But going forward, there's no need to do that. Nym is just available, and hopefully this will extend Nym's usability and accessibility for broad crowds. So that's excellent news. Hopefully you're as excited as I am. And on that note, let me also tell you that next week's Nym community call will not be on the regular Thursday, but instead it will be on Wednesday. And I'm going to have someone on from the Kepler team to chat a little bit about their wallet, this integration, what this means, and just generally introduce them to you guys. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be announcing it, but we already know that it's going to be on Wednesday instead of Thursday, same time. So put that in your calendars. Exciting news. Next up is, of course, the Zcash Nym swapper. This is not brand new, but also very exciting news. So if you haven't tried it out yet, then make sure to do so. This is a native swapper between Zcash and the Nym token, so you can swap between the two. Obviously, we've been doing a lot of work with Zcash, together with Zcash. Yeah, so why can I remember this word? Yeah, through other years, that's what I was looking for. And that work continues. And as a reminder, actually, I will also mention that you can pay. One of the anonymous ways to pay for Nym VPN is Zcash. So if you want to pay with Zcash for your Nym VPN subscription and be totally untraceable, then you can do so. So that's also excellent news. A link to the swapper will be shared in the chat, and you can also find it on our community channels. So if you want, you can try it out. I think this is great news, and I'm looking forward to further work with the Zcash team as well. All right. Oh, sorry. On the note of Zcash, I will also mention that we had a bunch of people on the Nym community call before from the Zcash team. So maybe Salazar, if you'd be so kind to find the link to that community call where we had the Zcash team on. It was a really good conversation. So if you want, you can give it a listen. Old format, but still, a gold call. So make sure to check it out. And yes, as Anderson said, Zcash plus Nym equals perfection. Yes, different parts of the privacy stack, they are solving, we're solving different problems, but Zcash is an absolute OG of anonymous payments, untraceable payments, along with Monero. So yeah, it's very, very great to see, our work together deepening in this way. All right, moving on to the next piece of news, which is going to be just the release notes for the first release of NymVPN this year. Maybe you can hear my dog growling while he's asleep under my desk here. Hopefully that's not too bothering for anyone. All right, so let's go through this release note of NymVPN. Bunch of things happened, right? Here you can also see the versions. I'll be honest, the versions are a bit confusing to me. I never remember which OS has which release, so it's nice to see them listed like this. The big thing that is happening, one of the big things that is happening, which we also see from community reports, is that the censorship resistance of NymVPN has improved through some changes we made to DNS. We're getting reports both from Russia and China where users are confirming that NymVPN now works better in these heavily restricted regions. If you have any info for us, please make sure to share it on Nym community channels. We're keeping a close eye on how well NymVPN works in these censored regions, because obviously censorship resistance is very important. As you heard from us earlier as well, a VPN is only as good as usable it is, and it should especially be usable in regions where people need it the most, which also tend to be the most restrictive regions. So make sure to let us know how NymVPN is working out, and further changes are coming to our censorship resistance and further improvements. So you can check our censorship resistance roadmap linked in this article, and the article itself will be linked in the show summary and also hopefully in the chat. Yes, it's already in there in the chat. Jump in. There's also a new feature. The NymVPN Android app now dynamically reconnects when both changing servers and toggling between fast and anonymous modes, which is cool. It's cool to see. It's a nice little quality of life change. There was a bandwidth bug, so many of our users saw a bandwidth exceeded error message, which was not actually due to running out of bandwidth, but for some other reasons behind the scenes. So that has now been fixed. If you're still seeing it, please make sure to let us know. But that should be now fixed. There's also a fix applied to custom DNS selection. So a bug has been resolved on Android, resulting from the VPN tunnel not reconnecting and causing custom DNS not to be applied after selection. So that's now being fixed. You can now properly apply your custom DNS settings. There's also improved server search. So you can search NymVPN servers now in a bit of an easier way for Android, Linux, and Windows, and other UX improvements as well, which I'm not going to list here, but you can see them here. And what's next? That's also pretty exciting. So we're going to add logins from social accounts if desired. This if desired is pretty crucial here, because I personally would not recommend doing this. So so obviously this is an accessibility feature for broad audiences, for your mom and dad. It's great to be able to log in with various social accounts, but then you're connecting that account with your VPN account, which I think is never actually recommended. But we're adding this so that NymVPN is more accessible. I think that's really big news, regardless. So it's going to make NymVPN more accessible to the masses. But as privacy hardcores like you are, you should be aware of the risks of using it, and you should not use OAuth anywhere on the internet. So that's not just NymVPN. There are also mixednet optimizations coming. We've been promising this for quite some time, but this is one of the big things that I'm looking forward to this year, because the mixednet is great. It's obviously a core functionality of our tech. It's a key differentiator. But for the time being, due to the number of hops your traffic takes in mixed net mode, a bunch of other factors, and the random delays added to those packets, of course, as well. Your performance is, for web browsing, it's fine, but you're not going to be downloading any larger files or playing any games. That will remain true. The mixed net mode was not created for that. It's for maximum privacy, which is not accessible in any other tool besides Nym VPN. But to increase the speed is never a bad thing. So I'll take it. And of course, a lot more next year. You can check this linked resource here to check what else is in store. And also our roadmap for 2026 is in the making. So stay tuned for that, because that's also coming pretty soon. All right, so that's it for this blog post. If you want more details, you can check it out yourself. Moving on to the big ceremonial wrap-up of the fall season 2025 of the Nym Squad League. So if you're new here, the Nym Squad League is a framework where our community members contribute to various things around Nym via this decentralized grant framework that we set up. So from the smallest things, such as hanging out with us on these calls, all the way to translating Nym resources and the Nym VPN app itself. All kinds of contributions are made possible by this framework, but importantly through you guys. So thanks to everyone. I can see many names now here in chat who are with us, who are NSL contributors. Big thanks for all your contributions for the fall season 2025, which was the last 3 months of 2025. So October, November, December. All right. So a bit of explanation of what all of this means, right? If you're new here, you may not understand what the Squad Wealth Fund is. The Squad Wealth Fund is the community's treasury. We finance, we fund the Nym Squad League from the Squad Wealth Fund, and these funds come from the Nym the project staking a lot of Nym tokens across the Nym mixnet. By this helping Nym node operators to become profitable faster, and also keep up quality of service and a lot of other things. This is called our delegations program, and through this delegations program, the Nym treasury places delegations on community operated Nym nodes. Now those delegations, of course, including yours if you want to delegate, generate rewards, and those rewards are the income of the Squad Wealth Fund. So you can see the historical income per season. This is for every 3 months, right? For the past more than a year. This season, we saw a record income of 1.7 million Nym tokens. This is due to a large amount of stake on Nym nodes from the treasury, and also some changes that were recently made to the Nym token economics. So we saw an income of 2 million. You can see how much we spent. So we spent 410,000 Nym tokens on community contributions this past quarter, and that leaves us with 1.3 million of basically net surplus in the growing treasury. The treasury now has, the Squad Wealth Fund now has almost 4.1 million Nym tokens, which are available for all kinds of community projects, including dev projects, including dev projects, translations, community management, events, and much, much more. So the distribution of spending this season, sorry for the somewhat pixelated image here, we saw a big drop in development. No big projects happened over the past season, so we spent 20,000 Nym tokens on development. On community and community management, we spent 183K on your contributions, and then translations, we spent 148,000 Nym tokens, and then awards, I can't see the number here, but it's a smaller portion, 2% of our spending. So there are a lot of shout outs here. Not going to read out all of them, because then we'll actually be here for probably a few more days. So maybe I won't put you through that, but a massive shout out to each and every one of you who contributed this season. It's really nice to see such a lively community we have here. A special shout out to someone who has been contributing some little tinkering projects on a recurring basis, who is Polax. So thanks for Nym Mailer version 1.1 and also the Nym transfer for Nym client, which is also a great little tool. And shout out to all of our translators, and I will highlight here Fall. A big thanks to you, sir, who actually didn't accept any rewards for their contributions. So that's exemplary. Big thanks for your translations and also for being so generous. Next up, some big changes. I'm not going to spoil the fun for Salazar, so I'm not going to tell you what changes are coming, but some pretty big. Let's put it this way: UX and UI changes are coming to NSL. We've been working on this under the hood for quite some time, so I can't wait to finally be able to announce it to you. The systems and tools that we use for the Nym Squad League, and also that you guys use for participation in the Nym Squad League, are going to change significantly pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. And that brings me to the end of the Nym related news roundup. So let's move on to privacy. Oh, sorry. To privacy news. Yes. Right. So Florida's App Store Accountability Act would deputize big tech to verify user IDs for app access. Now, this is, of course, nothing new. If you've been paying attention to privacy news around the world, there is this increasing push, both in the United States and also in Europe and elsewhere, to basically hide such surveillance measures under child protection. Yeah, this is the latest piece of news on that note. And what this means, I'm just going to read out a few quick sentences. By the way, a quick shout out to Reclaim the Net. They are excellent. Make sure to follow their work. They are publishing excellent articles, so support them by reading this one, and also by keeping an eye on their content. All right, so in Florida, Senator Alexi, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, has introduced a proposal that could quietly reshape how millions of Americans experience the digital world. The App Store Accountability Act, presented as a safeguard for children, would require every app marketplace to identify users by age category, verify that data through commercially available methods, quote unquote, and secure recurring parental consent whenever an app's policies change. So in practice, what this would mean is that you would have to provide some kind of government ID to verify your age, and this would apply for every application that you use, basically. So whenever you download or even update an application from your app store, you would have to be like your identity would be tied to that act. So this is pretty worrying stuff, and we see more and more of this around the world. And I think this sentence here, again, I'm not going to read out the whole article. Please go and support them by reading it on there. But this paragraph here really well summarizes what this is about. Not just this, but also other such proposals. So, by making identity verification the gateway to digital access, the law risks creating an infrastructure in which surveillance becomes a condition of participation. It is a move from voluntary oversight to systemic authentication, merging the roles of government and corporation in a single mechanism of control. Very well said, and quite worrying. So, as always, I'm hoping that this proposal, for now it's a proposal, will not actually pass. And on the same note, TikTok is also going to tighten its ACE checks as the European regulators ramp up pressure on it, which is also something that's been, if you've been keeping an eye on European privacy news, this has been also a trend in 2025, and I expect it to follow similarly in 2026 as well. So TikTok will start rolling out a new age detection technology across Europe in the coming weeks. The previously unreported system follows a year-long pilot in Britain. It analyzes profile information, posted videos, and behavioral signals to predict whether an account may be underage. Accounts flagged by technology will be reviewed by specialist moderators rather than automatically banned, TikTok said. The rollout comes as European authorities scrutinize how platforms verify users' age under strict data protection rules, amid concerns that current approaches are either ineffective or overly invasive. Yeah, so I think this is somewhat better of an approach than the Florida one discussed earlier, but still not overly happy about it, to be honest. Despite, I also highlighted this part because I think it's interesting. Despite extensive efforts, there is no globally agreed way to confirm a person's age while preserving privacy, TikTok said. For appeals against bans, the company will use facial age estimation from verification provider Yoti, along with credit card checks and government-issued identification. So this is where the magic happens, so to say, in not such a positive way. So government-issued identification to tie that with your online activity, whether it's on TikTok or on other platforms, is not great news. And unfortunately, I think we're kicking off a year where we're going to be seeing an increasing number of pushes like this around the world. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, not very happy, to be honest. All right, in other quite unhappy news, believe me, the rest of the call will be much happier. Okay, I'm just doing the privacy news roundup. It's pretty bleak over here. All right, so Pennsylvania Supreme Court rules that police can access Google searches without a warrant. Yep, the court said the internet users making searches have no reasonable right to privacy because it is common knowledge that websites, internet-based applications, and internet service providers collect and then sell user data. Now, I will add that this is only affecting people who committed some crimes that I can't say here on YouTube out loud, that have been convicted of such crimes. So you can read the article if you want to know what I'm talking about. Have to do some self-censorship here, but it's worrying regardless, especially when it comes to warrantless searches or like warrantless access to information. So the bare minimum of legal oversight with such easily abused powers would be a warrant. And now actually, based on this ruling, this is a court ruling, so it's not just a proposal, that's not going to be necessary anymore. Now, the thing that I wanted to highlight here is that this only creates legal precedent in Pennsylvania. That's important. So this is not a US-wide thing, and yeah, it could lead to. Experts predicted that the ruling will lead to, or will lead more police departments to feel confident about warrantless searches for internet queries. So yeah, that can be an outcome of this. All right, moving on to the next news item. This was suggested by Beyond. Thanks for the suggestion. Beyond asked me to cover some cybersecurity news every once in a while. So he provided a bunch of ideas and I picked this one. This is kind of interesting and kind of terrifying at the same time. So analysis shows how fake banks exploit search and trust. All right, so researchers have identified a large-scale fraud campaign involving thousands of fake banking websites that actively target users in the United States and the United Kingdom. More than 11,000 fraudulent bank domains were observed, with 8,000 plus in the US and 3,000 plus in the UK. They are polished, SEO-optimized platforms that impersonate legitimate financial institutions, regulators, and lending services. Not your typical phishing fraud. What sets this campaign apart is operational maturity. The fake banks offer services such as loans, mortgages, grants, and high-limit credit cards, often promising instant approval or no credit card checks. Victims are funneled through simplified onboarding flows, fake KYC processes, and staged approvals designed to build trust before monetization. Once engaged, users are pressured to pay activation or processing fees, typically via cryptocurrency wallets or PayPal's friends and family option, both methods that significantly reduce traceability and recovery chances. So if you're in the crypto space at all, you know that frauds and scams are everywhere. The reason why this is particularly scary is because this is also heavily SEO optimized, which will be explained in the next snippet here that I grabbed. Rather than relying on spam or malware delivery, threat actors are gaming search engine algorithms. CTM 360 observed extensive keyword stuffing, region-specific financial terms, and abuse of trusted-looking domains such as .com, .net, and .live. The result is fake banks ranking alongside or even above legitimate financial institutions in search results. So yep, they are evolving. Make sure to stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. Let especially vulnerable people like your parents know that stuff like this can happen, and it's increasingly difficult to know what we can and cannot trust on the internet. All right. Hopefully, the next segment is going to be a bit less dark, I should say. So yeah, Big thanks to this suggestion. Big thanks to Nimblewumble for this suggestion on the forum. Once again, if you want to, I would just highlight here that if you want to select my next background for the next call, or maybe you want to propose, additional news items for the news roundup, or you want some segment to happen on these community calls, then make sure to do so on the forum thread that we create every week for the upcoming community call. So thanks for this suggestion. Basically, Nimblewumble said that it would be great to treat newbies nice a little bit and show them around Nym VPN. So they specifically mentioned server selection, but there's also some other like basic things that I'm going to be explaining for that hypothetical first-time user. Let me go to screen share. And share the Nym VPN app. All right, so this is Nym VPN. This is what it looks like when you open it for the first time. Now, a few things explained. We already talked about the two modes of Nym VPN, which is the fast and anonymous modes. Very quickly summarized for a newbie, fast is what you should be using for most of your web browsing, right? So you should be using fast mode for especially streaming and other more intensive things, and also just general browsing. Anonymous mode is slower, so it's not optimized for performance, but this is what really sets Nym VPN apart. It's a mode where all of the packets that you're sending and receiving make it through this multi-layered system, which shuffles your packets around in a way with other people's packets that makes it impossible for an outside observer to see who you are and what you're doing. And it even makes it impossible to see if you're doing anything at all, because when you're connected via anonymous mode, your device also sends fake data, fake packets, which is another way to make it totally impossible to read from the outside looking in what is actually happening on these devices. Now, in most cases, you should select fast mode. If you're an Android, you can already use split tunneling, where you can select which application should go through which mode. I highly recommend sending your banking apps, maybe crypto wallets, and all of those sensitive applications with a lot at stake through our anonymous mode, and then the rest can go through fast mode. And of course, split tunneling is coming to other platforms also, as soon as we can put that out. Now, the question was directly relevant to these things here, right? So the entry and exit gateways. One of the big differences between Nym VPN in fast mode and other VPNs is that even in fast mode, your connection takes 2 hops before reaching the internet. So your connection enters and then exits somewhere. So this is a very important measure to separate your person from what you are doing on the internet. So by doing this, by having 2 hops, it would be very difficult, even if these nodes would turn malicious, to know about you, who you are, what your IP address is, and what you're visiting, because it happens on two different servers. So this is an important privacy measure, right? And as for country selection, I will just explain the basics here. For your entry, you should always select a location that is close to you. So the further the location you select geographically, so like distance-wise is from you, the more latency it will add to your connection. And oftentimes it also creates worse performance in general, like worse download speeds as well, because different parts of the world are not connected with equally fast internet connections. So there are some regions which are very well connected. This is why, for example, Germany is pretty good. Singapore is pretty good. These countries have also the Netherlands. They have a lot of like high-speed internet infrastructure connecting them to the entire world. But if you select something that is very far away, then your entry, like your actual connection, has to get there to that country. So that adds a lot of latency and possibly ruins your performance as well. and then your exit is where your browser and the apps that you use and everything else will see you. So if I can't connect now because then I would lose connection to this call, but if I connect to a Swiss exit gateway, then my browser and all the apps that I'm using will think that I'm in Switzerland. This is important for if some content that you want to watch, for example, on Netflix, is not available in one region, but it is available in another region, you can select your exit accordingly and then access that content. So the other thing I will say here is that the distance between these two countries is once again important. So if you create, let's say I'm right now in Portugal. Let's say my entry is in Singapore and my exit is here in Portugal, right? Then all of my internet traffic has to travel basically around the whole world. So expect some not so great performance when that happens. So select your entry I guess both entry and exit locations in regions where there are known to be strong privacy laws. I think that's always a good start. So, for example, Switzerland is the default here because Switzerland is known to have some of the strongest privacy regulations in the world. So it's good to browse from there. And then if you want your entry and exit to be in different countries, which is always good practice, then make sure that they are not too far from each other. So maybe I could select Germany as the exit. Yeah. Now, if I just select Germany, the Nym VPN client will select one of the better performing gateways in Germany, but the entire network of that Nym VPN runs on is operated by our beautiful community. Many people in the chat here are participating in running that network, and you can also select, instead of selecting a country, you can select a specific gateway, right? You can select which specific gateway in that country you want. You also see their current performance here. So don't select something that is currently underperforming. Select something with 4 bars here, and maybe the operator. Oftentimes, for example, hi there, Hermes Stakepool. I know them pretty well, so I would maybe select their gateway because I know that they are not going to do anything fishy, right? I trust them. Trust is a pretty important thing on the internet as well, and this is one of the ways how you can actually select your trusted operator. You can also go to the profile of these nodes, and you can check their all kinds of specifications, and even more so, I won't be able to show you because now I'm sharing only the Nym VPN app, but you can also go to the Nym Network Explorer and look for further information about this node, even a quick note from the operator, and a bunch of other statistics about it. So if you want to get granular, you can select the node itself, but it's always also just fine to click a location, and then you're gonna be exiting through that location. Hopefully, that was. I'm looking at questions in chat. Was a good enough explanation and newbie friendly. I will remind you that you can leave your questions in chat if you have any for me. But that was this segment on how to use Nym VPN for a beginner. Maybe actually I'll also add in here that if you are in a censored region where the internet is known to be censored in some way, so for example, VPN access is not allowed. That's the big thing that these features protect against. Then you can come here to the anti-censorship options, and for example, enable quick. That can help you connect from such regions. And of course, we also have, these are not toggleable for the time being, but we're also working on bringing you a bunch of other anti-censorship features. This may be something worth playing around with in case you are in a country where VPNs are restricted in some way. All right, that was my quick Nym VPN introduction. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm looking at questions in chat. None so far. All right, so with that, we're ready to move on to our next segment, which is going to be, drumroll, game time. All right, so just like last week, we're going to be bringing you a few questions that are related to Nym, the Nym lore, privacy technology, or something along those lines. So just like last time, the participation is very simple. The first person to send the correct answer in chat is the winner. In some cases, since I make the rules, of course, we may select other winners as well. So yeah, make sure to pay attention, be on the edge of your seat, and try to answer as quickly as possible. Are we ready? All right, let's move on to the. Oh, and just as a reminder, there's a bit of a delay between us, so I can only see your answers a bit later after you're posting them. All right, I'm so excited. Let's go. First question. Loading for some reason. Yes? All right, so what information can still be used for correlation even if payloads are encrypted? Repeat the question. What information can still be used for correlation even if payloads are encrypted? Some options are coming up. All right, so A, user settings, B, Wi-Fi SSID, C, packet timing, or D, CPU model. Repeating the options. So A, user settings, B, Wi-Fi SSID, C, packet timing, or D, CPU model. Which one is it? Metadata is not correct. C, I see a C there. Rogue rodent. 3, which I guess is also a C. Diana also says C. Anderson taking a different approach, B. The way you walk, Theo, thanks for that. All right, the way you walk is the correct answer. No, I'm just kidding. Moving on to revealing, yes, everybody who said C is a winner. So of course, packet timing is a big way of, for what we call a GPA, global passive adversary, who can observe the entire network all at the same time and all the devices on it. For the GPA, the timing of packets and how long it takes for them to get from what's it called, from origin to destination is a great way of correlating. All right. Congrats to those who answered correctly, but there can only be, in most cases, one winner. So that winner is a rogue rodent. So congratulations. On fire once again, just like last week. All right, question 2. Are we ready? Okay, drum roll. Who wrote the first paper introducing mixed networks, also known as mixed nets? All right, so the options are Whitfield Diffie and Martin Hellman, or Dave Chom, or Ron Rivest, Eddie Shamir, and Leonard Alderman, or Phil Zimmerman. All right, so options again: Whitfield Diffie and Martin Hellman, David Chom, Ron Rivest, Eddie Shamir, and Leonard Alderman, damn it, or Phil Zimmerman. Who is it? We see a B there. All right, a couple of Bs. All right, I think it looks like we have a consensus here on B. I'll give people a bit more time to answer. All right, it seems like everybody voted B, or like everybody answered B. There's a C just for the sake of not agreeing with the crowd. The correct answer is, drum roll, Dave Chom. The paper, I think, was in 82. Maybe we can find actually a link to it. I'm looking for the link. Just 1 second. You know what? I'm not going to waste time on this. Sal, if you could please try to find a link to the original paper. This was, of course, the origins, the deep and far away lore of Nym VPN and the Nym network. And it's really funny how in 82, I believe. Again, I'm not sure about 82, but somewhere in somewhere there, it was already theorized that a mixed network, could be a great thing to ensure protection against GPAs, these global passive adversaries. But then it took such a long time for technology and also academic work to catch up to the point where now you can actually go open Nym VPN and use a mixed net in practice. So yes. All right, excellent. Congrats to everyone who knew, but there can only be one winner. So who answered first? Big drum roll. Yes. That was indeed Gonjor. Gonjor. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but you are the winner regardless. So congratulations for being so quick. All right, next question. I hope everybody's ready. Question 3. How does padding help anonymity systems? So how does padding help anonymity systems? A, it increases throughput for the traffic. B, it reduces distinguishable traffic shapes. C, it blocks adversaries and network monitors. D, it hides destination IPs. I'll repeat. A, it increases throughput for the traffic. B, it reduces distinguishable traffic shapes. C, it blocks adversaries and network monitors. D, it hides destination IPs. Which one is it? All right, a bit less of a consensus here. We see an A, a C, a B, a few more C's and a B. I'll give you guys some more time to think about it. All right, we see a couple of B's. B. All right, seems to be it seems to be B seems to be becoming the consensus. So let's find out the correct answer. Correct answer is B. So everybody who said B, congratulations, that is correct. So the point of padding is that you make all packets the same size, right? This is something that the Nym mixnet also does. And if all the packets are the same size, right, correlation or any kind of like pattern recognition based on packet size is not possible. So on the Nym network, for those who are using the Nym mixnet, all the packets look exactly the same from an outsider's perspective. So no conclusions can be drawn from what size a packet is. So congrats for everyone who chose B. So this time around, Rustam was first to answer, but unfortunately that was incorrect. So the first B I see is once again rogue rodent. That's the second correct answer. So congratulations. And then you know what? I'll also throw in the second B here. Beyond. Excellent. Congratulations to both of you. And I believe we have one more question. So sharpen those pencils. Question 4. All right. Which layer of encryption prevents a Wi-Fi attacker from reading page contents or even, even without a VPN? So I'll repeat that. Which layer of encryption prevents a Wi-Fi attacker from reading page contents even without a VPN? The options are A, WEP, WPA, or WPA2, B, TLS, HTTPS, C, QUIC, or D, IPsec. I'll repeat the options: A, WEP, WPA, WPA2, TLS, QUIC, or IPsec. Which one is it? This is the final showdown, the final question. Okay, I see an A there, our first answer. A couple of A's, D, B, B. What could it be? No pun intended. Another B. I'll give you some more time. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. A couple more B's. All right. I think that was enough time. So let's reveal the answer, which is B. So TLS. one of the things that, if you watch YouTube at all, then you're going to see VPN ads. That's basically inevitable at this point. What you're going to see is people, in leather gloves and ski masks sitting in front of a computer, and the ad will say that these hackers will steal your data if you connect on an unprotected connection. This today is actually mostly a false claim. So most of your browsing actually is already protected by TLS. So it's not just if you're not using a VPN, your connection is not necessarily fully like unencrypted, right? So that's a bit of a misleading claim there. We have TLS. It's an excellent tool, which, by the way, would be illegal if it wasn't for the activism of cypherpunks, right? Because all encryption was illegal, and then as a result of the activism of cypherpunks, which kind of showed that making encryption illegal is pointless and also unenforceable. Thanks to that, we now have e-commerce and all kinds of things on the internet which are made possible by encryption. So TLS is one of the technologies that are doing the heavy lifting there. All right, so the last remaining question is who the winner is of this question 4 here. So let me take a look. Correct answer is B. So let's see the first B, which is once again Gonjor. So congratulations. That's actually we have a tie with a Rogue Rodent, because I think both of you got 2 right, and were the first to get two right. So we have the first tie on the game segment here of the Nym Community Call. So congratulations. Very quick reflexes and a lot of knowledge was on show, on display today. So congratulations. Make sure to, if we don't already have it, make sure to leave your Nym forum handles here in chat so we can contact you about your winnings, which are well deserved. All right, so we're almost at the end of this second Nym Community Call of 2026 in this new format. So hopefully all you enjoyed it. I'm gonna do, as usual, a bit of a Q&A. We only have a few questions, so if you have any questions for me about Nym or whatever it may be, then make sure to leave it in chat. For now, all right. Question from a Rogue Rodent. One last thing before we get into the happy mood. A law passed in the UK where the government now has access to every UK bank account. Excellent news, right? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to say about this. I feel like forms of control are gonna be like increasingly sought after by governments these days, as we're entering some pretty rough waters, I think, these days. For now, internet control and censorship and surveillance seems to be at the forefront, but financial that equivalent of that in financial terms is probably right around the corner as well. So yeah, if you're in the UK, then I wish you good luck, I guess. I don't know what to say. Thanks for the comment, Rogue Rodent. Question from Rocio. What do users think of our Nym VPN? All right, so I have a pretty good read on this, actually, because I lead customer support, which is part of the reason why you have been seeing less of me these days for the past 6 months or so than usual. I've been busy with that. So these days we're getting some pretty good feedback. Users, especially those who understand the tech as well, are giving us some great feedback. There are still some pain points that we are working on, but I am happy to say that even before Nym VPN as a brand new application turns 1 year old, which will be on, I think, the 13th of January, not January, of March this year, it's already in shape to serve the masses and doesn't have any major issues. People appreciate it. It gets out of the way now for the most part, so you don't have to mess around with it too much. Not nearly as much as when it was in beta. So I think overall good opinions. We're also here. I will mention that we're keeping a very close eye on your feedback. So whether you leave it in a support ticket or on any of our community channels, we are grabbing that and making it part of internal conversations, such as, for example, which I forgot to shout out, the no, actually I shouted it out I think last week. The OpenWRT release of NymVPN is coming as a result of community and user feedback that we've been getting. So this was one of the most requested features. So we put out a grant for our community to deliver it, and it's actually now testable. So make sure to jump on the Nym forum. Maybe we can link the specific forum thread if you want to try it out. But this was one of the most requested features that we saw, so we made sure that it happened. And of course, we're continue. So one of the things that I hope sets us apart, and that I'm working very hard on, is to continue to keep an eye on your feedback and suggestions and implement those. So if you have any, then make sure to let us know. We are seeing some very happy customers these days, which is lovely to see. All right, next up is also from Rocio. Thanks for another great question. What do you think about the use of facial recognition in Iran to criminalize social protest and prosecute women who rebel against the hijab? Well, this is obviously very sad. I think we mentioned facial recognition and such uses of AI technology on the previous community call as well. This is as part of our sad reality. This is going to be increasingly common. I hope that more regions will ban facial recognition at scale altogether, because it's never so applied to the masses, it's never an appropriate or acceptable technology to use, and has way more downsides than upsides. I would say that if you ever have to protest for any reason, then make sure to wear masks, and just try to cover your face up, because in not only in Iran but in many countries, protests are not very welcome, but they are an important expression of our freedom of speech, which not all of us have, but we should. And it's also like a very important means of showing the powers that be our discontent. And it's also a fundamental human right to be able to free assembly. So not much I can say. I hope facial recognition will be banned. I think these discussions are going to be at the forefront for the coming years as these technologies become increasingly common. I hope the highest possible number of countries will have their hearts at the right place, and will recognize the incredible danger that these technologies pose, and will just ban them. So let's hope that happens. Not very hopeful, but hopefully, at least in a few countries it will be. Obviously, this use of facial recognition by Iran is absolutely unacceptable and really tragic. And what's been going on there more broadly with the crackdown on protesters and the many thousands dead is also just very, very sad and heartbreaking to see. And there's not much else I can add. Just very, very sad stuff. Can someone leave a very happy question to end on, like a happy note about maybe unicorns or something, anything? All right, so Gonjor is asking, can I send my forum user by Discord to keep my YouTube privacy? Yes, I guess you can. Please send it to Salazar. The only problem is that whenever there's an opportunity for someone to game the system, they will. So probably we will get like 100 different DMs from people sending different usernames. But hopefully this call is, there are 22 participants right now, so hopefully it's not big enough for that to happen. So yes, of course. Yeah. Any happy questions to end on, ladies and gentlemen? Or maybe I should just change my background back to the unicorn one to be a bit more happy. All right, so question by Beyond. When will you have a picture with cartoon characters in the background? So we're very close now. My office here in my headquarters is done. And all I need to do is, the final touches. For the time being, I have behind me a carton box, a big metal fan, and a suitcase. So that's the only reason beyond why I'm not using the the picture with the cartoon characters. As a bit of context for those who don't understand what we're talking about right now, I got a very amazing gift from Beyond and his wife when I was in Ukraine, which is three of my favorite. No, actually, sorry, five of my favorite cartoon characters in like this really nice layout. Not gonna spoil the fun. This is gonna be all behind me at some point, and I'm gonna be switching from the virtual backgrounds to like actual backgrounds. But there's still a bit of waiting to do until then. This will happen before my next birthday, I promise. Is that a deal, Beyond? I hope it is. Thanks for the question. All right, I'm gonna hang out here for a bit longer in case you have any other questions. But we are about to wrap up, so thanks for joining this community call. We're gonna have, of course, one next week as well. As a reminder, the next community call is gonna be on Wednesday, not Thursday, because we're gonna have someone from the Kepler team on to talk about our integration and a bit about their project. It's a really interesting one. It's one of the biggest and most common and most beloved. I think I can safely say that most beloved wallets in the Cosmos ecosystem. So I can't wait to have them on. All right, bunch more questions are coming. Let's answer them. All right, so Salah Edin, I think, is asking, in future, Nym will release DNS. So I guess the question here is whether we will have our own DNS service. I don't know if such plans, but it's a good idea. So obviously, DNS is one of the key things that you have to be able to trust in order to know that your browsing is safe, right? DNS surveillance is a major concern. So it could make sense in the future for us to launch one. But I think that's not in our current priorities. If you want one, though, then make sure to let us know. And that's not only for you, but also for anyone else from the community who would love to use a Nym DNS server. Let us know, and then I can, if I can gather such feedback or such feature requests and forward it to the Nym team, then we can, we will know that that this is something that you guys want. All right. Thanks for the question. Next up is also from Rocio. Question is, if Nym were an American football or basketball team, what animal would be the team's mascot and why? Ooh, good question. Actually, let me turn that right back at you. What should be our mascot? Any suggestions? We don't currently have a mascot. This has come up before. Maybe we should have one. Maybe for designs and things like Telegram stickers and whatnot. But we don't currently have a mascot. I will guess what most of you will answer because something that comes up very often is a chameleon, as it relates to privacy. So could be a chameleon. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right. Next question. While I'm waiting for your suggestions for the Nym mascot, this is from Rary Rural Luis. I'm operating residential IPs, but currently I am the only one providing an exit gateway for residential nodes. Please give me rewards. You can get in touch with us on Discord, Matrix, or Telegram about this suggestion. So residential IPs are like pretty groundbreaking. So that's something that we want to provide on the level of the whole network. Currently, there's not many of them, like you say, and if you're running one, if you're not already in the Nym delegations program, which is our way to support node operators, then make sure to let us know, and we're gonna at least add you there. And then there are a lot of internal discussions, as you probably heard if you read Telegram. You can sometimes hear from our CEO Harry Halpin talking about residential IPs. This is something that we are looking into, and there is also discussion about the ways of rewarding operating residential IPs. So that is a conversation which don't have a fruit, which won't bear fruit for the next 1 or 2 quarters for sure, but just know that it is something that we're considering. For now, we do have the Nym delegations program though, and the general like rewarding system of the Nym network. So yeah, make sure to apply for the delegations program. Thank you for the question. All right, with that, we've come to the sad end of this community call. Thank you everyone for joining us, and there's only one last thing I need to do, which is, of course, as is a long-standing tradition here at in Nym Community Calls, we are going to commemorate together this hangout here that took place. So thanks for joining us, and you're going to get a POAP for your participation. And the secret phrase for this week's POAP, let me move myself. Wait, what's happening? Yeah. Perfect. So the secret phrase for this week's POAP is going to be Kepler next week. Remember, Kepler is coming next week on this community call. Capital K, capital N, capital W, and you can see that in the chat as well. Go to nym.com/go/POAP to claim your POAP. Big thanks for joining, everyone. Don't forget to leave your suggestions for topics, maybe my next background, segments, news items, whatever it may be. I'm especially looking for global privacy-related news because it's always very, Western-focused, European and American. I'm super interested in what else is happening in other regions. So make sure to leave your stories if you have any, and any other suggestions are welcome. And this time, I will say the YouTube things, which I always forget. I should say it every time, but I always forget. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed this, and leave a comment. That feeds the algorithm gods, and this community call can get to more people. Big thanks for joining, everyone, once again, and have a lovely rest of the day. See you next week on Wednesday, same time. Much love. Bye bye.